So, hello and welcome back, guys, to another live trade recap. So, today we're going to be doing the trade recap that I've taken today. Today is 20 May 2026. Today is Wednesday, and I had taken this trade in the London session. So, yeah, let's just jump right into the trade recap. So, as of today, I didn't actually go into the higher time frame too much because higher time frame was already kind of bearish, kind of like, yeah, it is kind of a mix. Technically, it is still bearish, but you don't know when just like it just completely flips it bias and we continue to the higher. So that's why I don't trade forex with the fixed bias. Even if the market is like very bearish, I don't just fix my bias to being bearish. I just keep my options open whether I see some opportunities or not. Okay, so yeah, I just marked out this much of the chart here. I had marked the daily FVG which was available here. So we see this is the daily start of the daily new FVG. So I was looking for this to be the nearest drawn liquidity, and also there was a multiple fair value gap to the top of us. So my initial thought process was going into London session was if we do end up breaking this 15-minute fair value gap, then we most likely continue to the downside, or we inverse the 15-minute, break through this 5-minute gap, and we can continue to the upside. And so that was the my initial thought process. So London session opened here, and as it opened, it went and started retesting this 5-minute. So if this 5-minute gap had been inversed, most likely I would look for trade to the upside to target the buy side liquidity intermediate high, as well as there was multiple, not multiple, but yeah, three, four, one high time frame fair value gaps present. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I looked for this 5-minute to do whatever it reacts, then react according to that. Okay, so if you see this 5-minute started holding very nicely, and we had an SMT, very nice SMT present as well. Now at this point of time, I cannot just add, like, I'm going to be very honest at this point. Most likely I should have entered this trade. We see the 30-second here as well. Let's see 30 So at this point I was expecting this 3-minute gap. 3-minute gap, there was a 3-minute, this 3-minute gap, I changed it to the bearish gap after the trade ran away. But this 3-minute gap, you see here, this 3-minute gap was marked out while I was trading, and I had, once this got closed, then I was supposed to take my entry here. This would have been the entry, trade here, stop loss here, target this to the downside. This would have been the initial trade. But while the market was happening, this part happened very quickly, and I completely missed the entire move. You see here, this candle opened and closed. So not opened and closed, but technically, like, the move, it happened here already. It happened very quickly. So technically, if I would have entered there, it would be chasing the price. And if I did enter down here, my stop loss would definitely be somewhere around here, and I would have gotten stopped out 100%. So that's why I thought let's not chase the price. In Forex, what happens, like, around 70 to 80% we do get a pullback. So I was thinking maybe we get a pullback, then I can take my entry there. Okay, there was no SMT at this point. SMT formed after that. Okay, the market started coming to the downside. It formed a new low, and it just started reversing to the upside. We got a nice inverse here as well. You see, we got a nice bullish inverse. So this, like, technically this happens every time when I enter. Okay, as I enter, we just start seeing bullish momentum, and I get stopped out. That was what was happening. So I thought that maybe now we will sweep out this high, and we could see displacement to the downside. Because still I'm bearish until this 5-minute fair value gap gets ran through to the upside. Okay, so then I waited for the market to present itself. As you can see, it formed a nice SMT as well as a change the state of delivery in 30-second time frame. So this 30-second time frame, it was a little bit early entry, but it was overall a discretionary entry as well. And as I saw this candle formed, that it just what do you say, SMT formed with a doji candle, and the wick so high. And while at this point, if you see the GBP USD has already taken this high, and we have had a nice doji candle rejecting to the downside. This has a nice SMT, and overall we are still in a bearish trend because this 5-minute fair value gap has not been ran through. So then at this point, I go ahead and take my entry. And yeah, this was my break. I technically put my break even point at this 5-minute, no, it's not 5-minute, 1 minute's body. So I put this point here. I could put here also, but most likely I thought that at this point already we are getting how much? 1 is to 1.3. So I should just capitalize on whatever I'm getting. Okay, then as I had taken the entry, the market just started dipping to the downside. It just rejected here. Then again, it started going to the downside. It did come up multiple times as it happens. Like even if you forex, if you are trading in lower time frame, you get multiple entries. But if you are trading higher time frame, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, then most likely you don't get that much of a pullback. But in this 1 minute, I definitely got a multiple chance of entry, even if I would have missed the first one. The second one entry is also valid. Put my entry here, stop loss over this high. Okay, so yeah, there was a multiple entry and the market came here. At this point, I put break even and I had taken out partial here as well. And the entire trade had closed out somewhere just before this sell side liquidity gets taken. Because many times I have been edged. So this much profit doesn't mean anything. So why not just book that? Okay, but initially it did ended up going to the downside. Yeah, at this point, the overall take profit got it. But I closed my trade somewhere around here only. At this candle, I had closed somewhere around here only. I closed the trade. I reached around how much? 50 $60. I reached 1% of the account and I made around 100 and 305, something like that. So I made around 1 is to 1.3 or 4, something like that. So yeah, that was the entire trade. Nothing special happened. Like overall, if like I think that the forex market, I've gotten a bit like very familiarized with it, so I can understand the movement. Because if you see my previous trading videos, if you go ahead like 6, 10, 12 months back, while I was trading Euro USD, my view was completely different. Like it has changed very drastically. Like while I was trading in the forex market, because before what I used to do, first thing that I would compromise is I would get a fixed bias. Now whatever happens, I'm looking for a that same bias to play out, and when that doesn't play out, either I used to like miss my setup and do something bullshit, or I used to just skip that entire day. So yeah, if you see the previous videos, you will understand. So that was the overall trade, nothing much. The trade ended up going to the downside very nicely more at this point. Yeah, but technically I would have gotten stopped out. At this point, most likely I would have trailed my SL to bit here. I would have gotten definitely stopped. Okay, because it is still high risk. Okay, if you don't book the trade here, you don't know what can happen. Like sudden movement, up down movement, you just get in stopped out very quickly. So that was the entire trade. Nothing much more to explain. I've taken a trade yesterday in Nasdaq. Also, I need to explain that. I need to make the video that also. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much guys for watching. Bye bye. Take care. The daily fair value also got it. This was my external target. So technically, as you can see, like I am, what is it? If I just show the journal here as well. Like overall, my trading decision making is going pretty accurate as of now. So you see, this was the first. I had taken the trade here. At this point, as I had taken the trade, just started dumping here. Put my stop loss for this high. We had an SMT here as well, cleared as day. And at this point, I had booked the trade. At this point, I had technically fully booked the trade. Okay, so yeah, that was overall. See, these two trade, this should have been the win. Only one loss, this loss. I had made a completely mistake. No CHD early entry. And if you see this trade, three trade also all are early entry. Some are CHD, some. So take like overall the forex, the trade started. I'm like the what you say. Like I started trading forex very late, 2026, but yeah, it's still going pretty like well expected. Okay. So yeah, that was the overall trade recap. Thank you so much guys for watching. Bye bye. Take care. Peace out.